Hello everyone, Lytro Storm here, and today we are back with the second episode of Post-Mortem. For those of you who missed the first one, this is a series where I look back at my past what-ifs and address comments so as to provide more insight into the decisions made within the stories, or make alterations to anything that needs changing. This is also my way of thanking fans of every series, as I'm sure lots of you have favorites and I can't really continue those stories once they're finished. So this allows me to connect with fans of those series and talk about them again. Today we're going to be looking at what if Javier was in Season 1, which was originally posted on my first channel, Lytro Storm, but it got re-uploaded whenever I started Lytro DLC on May 1st, 2021. This became an 8-part series where we addressed what would have happened if the Garcia family from A New Frontier found themselves in Season 1 story of Telltale's The Walking Dead. So definitely make sure you've checked that out or refreshed yourself before watching this video, as it's kind of important to understanding the comments. Alright, the first comment. I really like the duck change, but this changes a lot more about Kenny's character. Losing his family shapes him into who he is in Season 2. I totally agree with this comment, but the issue is that there's just not much to convey that change within the story. Obviously, Kenny is different because his family dies, but Kenny being a hothead who is also super loyal to the people in his group is a thing that he does anyway. It's just more so geared toward his family. I do believe that I mentioned a few times in the series that Kenny wouldn't do the same stuff all the time, and he would be more of a coward because he doesn't go through those things. Alright, the next comment. It feels weird with two playable characters from different games who are basically the same guy coexisting. And then the reply, definitely not the same. Lee is calm, slow talking, wise, while Javi is more quick and witty. Now I totally get what the comments are meant here, as all of the characters you play in these games can feel similarly if you play them similarly. Javi, Clem, and Lee can all have the same morals if that's what you choose, which can make things a little weird to write them when they're not the playable character. So I do think this comment is just poking a little bit of fun at Telltale for that. Alright, we got the next comment, which says, Kate wasn't a pill popper, man. Alright, so this is kind of a weird one, but when I actually made this what if, I was pretty young and I really did not know much about drugs. So I saw Kate smoking in A New Frontier and I was like, oh, so she does drugs. And that was about it. I now am a little bit more educated on the differences between things like opiates and weed, and I think it's less likely that Kate would have used the group's drugs in this scenario. However, I do think this still could have happened, since marijuana is a gateway drug and in the apocalypse you don't really have much option. I really doubt the group had any Molly lying around, at least before episode 4. Though if you don't think Kate would do that, fair enough. I personally think it's reasonable, but no, Kate is not a pill popper. Forgive my 15-year-old self. Alright, number 3. This next one is kind of a big comment, but the overall message is that I kinda wasted the Garcias in this what if, since the big group caused way less room for interesting development. The Garcias' involvement in the story really drops off after episode 3 of season 1 and never really picks back up until season 3. But even with this statement, episode 3 could have had a lot more stuff in it if I made Kate's usage of the group's drugs more important. Javier could have totally been upset at Kate for putting the group in danger, causing some conflict in the family that has been totally tight-knit throughout most of the story. Lily could have had some visible animosity toward the Garcias joining the group while her family is now gone. And we saw how little supplies they had. And yes, I totally agree. Not all my what-ifs are written as thoroughly or in-depth as I'd like, and that's why I try to work hard to make the future ones better. But I totally would have put these ideas in if I did redo the series, and maybe that would have had lingering effects on the rest of season 1. Alright, next is, we've got a few comments lamenting Reggie's inability to catch a break in these what-ifs. This is kind of inevitable. If the group has more people, Reggie can survive due to the workload at House being lessened. But the group having more people typically leads to more targets in Arvo's gunfight, and that means that Reggie dies there. But maybe one day we'll keep him alive till the end, who knows. Number 6. I still think these are good, but I think it's better to have pivotal plot points that should still happen, like Duck being bitten. Yeah, no. I know the what if kind of spun out of control starting with Duck surviving, but that's just the way it goes. One change leads to another, which can lead to another. In this case, we had 4 extra characters, which saved 2, Duck and Katja, and they continued to save more lives after this. The group becoming massive is a byproduct of the what if, and to cut that away would just be to keep the story the same, and would be doing a disservice to the changes the what if makes. And the last comment of the video, if you wanted to continue, you could have the group running away from the conflict and finding the school, or something like they heard the Delta was there and went there to fight specifically and ran into the kids. Yeah, I suppose this is a possible option, but I just don't see it being very likely, and I think leaving it off at Richmond in that story makes the most sense here. I just really don't see the characters leaving, and especially whenever we know that Javi and the Garcias are confirmed to be alive and well in Richmond. So if we've got a bigger group there, you know, like, I feel like they would be even more alive and well, if anything, and they wouldn't need to run away. But that has been Post-Mortem on What If Javier was in Season 1. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. And if you've got any questions about the other series that we're going to be covering in this series, then definitely leave them here on this video and I'll add them potentially to the list. As always, a huge shout out to our members from the Walker tier, the Survivor tier, Ellie DePlug 2, Davisville 84, Aiden Kearns, Zombie Warlord, and Chief Strato Constituent. And lastly, our Christian Man tier, Willie, Marco Caldwell, Very Classy Demon, River Lamphere, Biara1, Heliopelio, Bad Opinion, Bashua, and Octavio Monreal. Thank you guys so much for being members, and if you also want to become a channel member and help support the channel, as well as getting access to awesome perks like early uploads and exclusive posts, definitely make sure you do so using the link in the description and comments. But as always, tell me if you liked the video, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.